Everybody, showing my age. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Extraordinary Man Podcast. And you guys know who this is. If you don't, let me remind you. My name is Phil Jones, Mike Jones, to those who know me personally and professionally. And I am the host of the Extraordinary Man Podcast. And you guys know this insatiable young man on the other side of this. It's just like, I'm so grateful to split a screen with this man. I don't think that y'all understand, right? It's like if I was to if it was a box of chocolates, right? And you sat back and you think about all the different assortments of flavors and stuff. This is the one with the cherry in it right here.
Are you calling me sweet?
Nah, I'm calling you delicious. No, on a serious note, man. Like, this is my brother, not the play one, the real one. It's my brother. Yeah. Introduce yourself, please, and thank you.
I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
So, without further ado, you guys are like this, like episode 60 or something like that. Like, we've been cranking them out.
Yeah, like 60, 70, something like that.
Somewhere in that range. I'm gonna look it up eventually when I get time for it. But the most important thing is the fact that we still here, we kicking strong, and we always have a myriad of the hottest topics on the web, whether y'all know it or not. And we're gonna continue to crank them out every day as normal.
Absolutely.
So today, what are we talking about?
Today, we're going to teach you guys how to avoid the 5 most horrible debt traps.
Not only are they some of the most horrible, they are some of the most common and some of the most easiest avoidable. Now, with this being said, what we want you guys to understand specifically as we present this list to you guys is that we took careful thought into this. And a lot of it was pertaining not just to our personal views of debt, but it was also contingent off of our own life experiences and things that we learned that were keeping us in bondage prior to us finally getting the awakening and putting it out here for you guys to hear it. Mm-hmm. So please bear with us. Enjoy what we have to give you guys, and please take notes. Write it down. This is one of the most important things that you're going to do. It is all for nothing until you put it on paper. Know that. Now, unless you got a photographic memory, but that's like what, 0.1% of the population?
Yeah, you got to be a special individual.
Oh, I'm a special individual, all right. All right, so let's get right into it. So, Midas.
All right.
Of our top 5, number 1 on our list is impulse spending and unnecessary purchases. Go.
Impulse spending would be the easiest way to explain that would be if you at the grocery store and they got like the little candy and all that, the pops and all that in the aisle. You already came in there and got what you got, but then you're like, ooh, I need that almond joy. Ooh, I need that. Ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how they get you. Bow right there. Man, let me go ahead and throw it in the basket. It's right here. You know what I'm saying? Now they just got an additional $1.29 about you. It may just be $1.29, but man, how many times you go into the store and how many times are you, it's right here. Let me just throw it in the basket. You know, you could be spending anywhere $20, $30, $40 by the end of the week. So stuff like that, you got to watch. Impulse buying can also stem from you see your homeboy or homegirl with it. So now you want to go get it. And so you do go get it when you didn't have the money to go get it. You threw it on a credit card or something. You took out a small loan for it. You know, you dipped into your savings account for it. You know, stuff like that. That's impulse buying, you know, trying to keep up. Unnecessary spending just because I wanted it. And there's nothing wrong with if you're saving up specifically and you breaking down your money precisely to where you have that, what we're coining FU money or calling the FU money. If you using it with that money, it's perfectly fine. But if you just digging out of your pocket and just splurging it simply just because you want it and none of your other obligations and priorities have been handled, I don't know what to tell you.
So let's delve a little bit deeper into that one because I really like talking about the impulse buy, primarily because of the fact that it's so easy and it's so easily overlooked. You see,
And easily avoidable.
well, let's get into to the easiness of getting caught into the trap, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times what you find is that you'll go into, let's say, a department store, or you go into a grocery store or whatever have you. Things are strategically placed so that you see them on your way to the most core items that you will go. Meat is in the back, dairy is in the back, produce is in the back. But you have to pass a myriad of other things that is just like as you're passing through it, "Yeah, let me grab that bag of chips. Let me grab this." So it's banking on you not being hyper focused on the specifics of what you have. Now, here's the thing, and I would encourage anybody to understand this. You need a list when you go into a store. That is the first line of defense to assist you with fighting the impulse buy. Make sure you know what you came to get before you go. Cross-reference it. You know what you use on a regular basis. You know what you don't need. You know what you do need. Stick to the script. Go grab what you need to get and go by any means necessary. Now, one of the biggest things too is the register. If you guys haven't noticed, this part of the debt trap is the fact that the register always has what? Bottled waters, energy drinks, trinkets, candies, a whole myriad of different things that are just not necessary, but they're just little add-ons that you will add. You have to think about it. If, like he was using the $1.29 example, a grocery store may see 10,000 patrons in a day. Let's say if the 10% rule is in effect, and out of 10,000 customers, and again, I'm just giving a loose estimate, 1,000 people pick up an item, $1.29, $1.29 times 1,000, $1,290 per day. Now you have to think about it. You take away MSRP, manufacturer suggested retail price, and you look at the differentiation between what they made in profit for that item versus what they actually paid for it wholesale. They might have bagged anywhere from 25 to 50 cents off that $1.29 item. So their profit margin of that additional item that you picked up could easily be where you literally they're paying payroll solely off of you buying extras.
Yeah, right at the register. Covering insurance and all that, just right at the register, right there.
That bottle of Dasani that you didn't need, because it's like, why would I go and buy a bottle of water for $2 right here in the front just because it's cold and just because it's available, knowing that they have entire cases of water back there for $5? I'm gonna get a whole 40 or 32 case of water for $5, but I want a $2 bottle of water because it's cold and it's available right now. That's the core of the impulse buy, is that it's right now. We get addicted to the right now. Yeah. It's like it's not a thought process associated with the purchase. It's a because I see it, therefore I want it and I'm gonna get it. And because generally the prices are in such small increments that you don't even notice that you're doing it. And that's how you get caught when you're looking back at your monthly expenses like, man, what happened? But just because you go to Chipotle doesn't mean you have to buy the chips and dip to go along with it. Just buy the burrito that you came to get. You don't have to upgrade the steak. You don't even have to go to Chipotle. The whole concept of, oh, well, because I worked, therefore I earned it, is bull crap oski. Telling you that is bull crap. You don't deserve nothing that you didn't earn. And just because you earned money, if you're not handling your money responsibly, you didn't earn it.
Yep, and that's why I mentioned, like, if you breaking your money down and you're specifically setting aside different amounts for different things, if you're putting aside cash, you know, to be able to do that frivolous spending, that's perfectly fine because it's not affecting any of your other pockets of money. Perfectly fine. This conversation probably don't even apply to you, you
at
know. So
all. But then with that Chipotle example, that actually brings us to our number 2. Fast food and dining out. Go.
So fast food and dining out, dude, you could rack up real big, especially within the week. You know, a number 2 combo here, a number 3 combo there. Let me just grab a cheeseburger here. Let me grab a coffee. You know, people spend coffee every day, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8 a day on coffee. Sometimes 3, 4 times a day on coffee. Starbucks is banking on you.
They don't get
Taco
us banking
Bell,
on you. Other novelty coffee shops.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Every single week, you know, all these small, and it's called the slow burn, all these small minimum transactions, these micro transactions of, you know, $5 for a burger here, $10 for a meal there, another $12 for a meal there. Like all this is banking up, and every single week, you done probably paid for 2 nice outings at a high scale restaurant. So that's definitely something that we got to start nipping in the bud and paying attention to. How often are you eating out? What is it going to take for you to go to the store, grab a big stack of turkey or ham, whatever you like, grab your tortilla wraps, grab your shredded lettuce, your cheese, your tomato, whatever, and create your own Subways? What is it going to take for you to do that? A Subway sandwich could run you $19. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more cheese, you know, bacon, you know, stack that on avocado. Man, they charging upwards of $2 for avocado.
Grabbing those cookies and that additional drink. You want to make a
Cookies,
meal out
chips,
of it? Bag of chips.
soup, your cheese and broccoli soup or chili. You know, they going crazy on you. But what is it going to take for you to be able to grab all that and just make it at home? It probably costs you $19, $20 to grab all that in a store, and then you can just pre-make them at the crib.
Eat for like 2,
Pre-make
4
3 days
days.
at a time. Yeah.
So you get
Yeah.
almost burned out an entire work week off lunch meat.
Mm-hmm. $20 for the whole week versus $20 one time.
And then don't even get me started on leftovers. Just
Yeah.
when you cook in surplus. So I'm gonna make spaghetti, I'm gonna make soup. I'm gonna make enough of it to where I can space it out over a course of a couple of
Space
days.
it
So
out
I can
over
break up the
2
monotony.
days, 2, 3 days. Yeah.
Go to Sam's Club and get those little those big things of the 20, 30 chips in a package. Take a
Mm-hmm.
couple of bags to snack on throughout the day, mix nuts, whatever it is, pack them up, break them down into little zips and stuff. I mean, it's very simple to do. It's just I think the consistency factor of it is where it is for most people.
That's where it boils down to. You got to be consistent with it. You have to want to do that though. And
It's a
you have to
discipline.
be in a state of it's a discipline, and you got to be in a state of mind of looking at it that way too. Like, why go to Subway? And if you out and about or whatever, you may have forgot or you in a rush. Okay, cool, no problem. It happens to everybody. But if you got the time and you got the mental state to do it, yeah, save your money, man.
Speaking of saving money, most people that will be considered in the high value class will tell you that people hustle backwards when it comes down to a very particular area. For the men, I want you to pay attention. And women, I want you also to pay attention. Men, look dead smack in the camera. Can you see me dead smack in the camera? I show my face. Do I look beautiful in here? Okay. Men, I'm talking to you. You do not go and spend all of your money chasing women. It is a 100% fail rate.
I'm about to throw it in there. I got to throw it in there.
Women, I don't know what your career ambitions are, but how many Shein dresses do you need?
Mm-hmm.
How many online shoes do you need?
Yeah, I mean
What
T-moves and all that going on.
whatever
Which
social media thing that you're trying to build for yourself, or whatever trying to status that you're trying to build for yourself, sweetheart. I don't care what it is. There's no legitimate reason to put yourself into the poorhouse to make appearances if there's no real benefit on the other end of it. All of y'all not models.
Mhm.
All of y'all are not going to be Instagram gold. All of y'all are not balling out on OnlyFans. It's just not a reality, sweetheart. Do something else. You're not going to do this, guys. And I'm telling you guys, not because of who I am or because of what I am, whatever the situation is, chasing women is a lose bet. You lose money, and when you run out of resources, you lose the women. You don't want a woman to care about you solely because of what you have. There has to be a myriad between what you can provide, who you are, your confidence, your ability to provide, and other things. You have to develop those other things so that you can keep whatever it is that you have going, but guaranteed that if you put your wallet to the forefront, that's what she's going to take you for. And you can't blame anybody but yourself. You want to chime in on that?
Man, them ribs is saucy. You know, the only thing that I could say is build up you first, build up your career, whatever you're trying to do, or if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, focus on that, build on that. Uh, don't focus on kids right now. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you that it was definitely hard. You know, this is a piece of advice that, you know, I possibly wish that I had. You know, don't focus on the shorties right now. You know, build yourself up, get your money right, get your crib right, get your car right. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you want and need, everything that you're striving for, get that. Then start, you know what I'm saying, implementing a woman into your life, because then you'll be in position to not only have something that you can actually present to her, but you'll be in a good position to take care of her and take care of the family, you know. So we do hustle backwards, you know what I'm saying? Women, then money later. Like that's backwards, you know.
Like,
And with the women, I think that they need to be saving, you know what I'm saying, their you know, I guess vitality or beauty, and you know what I'm saying, they need to be saving all that, you know what I'm saying, for that perfect gentleman to come sweep them off their feet. Y'all hustling backwards. You know what I'm saying? Y'all carry before you marry. You're hustling backwards.
yeah, going to go get liquored up and all that other stuff, just being outside in the scene all the time. There's nothing quality that's out there. That's for ladies and men, is the fact that if going to clubs, I have heard very few success stories as far as people who have met people at clubs. That's not where you go to meet people of quality. If you're looking for a specific thing, number one, as a man, you have to put yourself in a position to get into the doors, to be amongst the people that are the elite choices for the women that you desire. And for
Yeah.
women, you have to find yourself in a room where they want to be. Everybody has work to do, is basically what I'm saying. And it's not going to happen tricking off your money on this outfit. It's not going to happen with your booty out. It's not going to happen with this guy going out here and tricking off every dollar that he has with every female that he sees and letting his wallet lead him to ruin. It's just not going to happen. It's never happened. I had my phase that I went through of it, to where I wanted to go to the bar and sit down and impress the girls and buy drinks and stuff like that. And then two,
Mhm.
$300 later, I still leave and go home to me and Pamela Anderson. So I mean, it's like it's a wasted effort. And I'm just gonna tell you guys straight up, it's stupid. Don't do it.
Yeah.
If you hear me ever, if you hear my brother ever, don't do it. It's a waste.
Yeah, no, especially with like, you know, the spring breaks and all that. I don't know if the spring blings and all that stuff going on, bruh. Waste of money, biggest waste of money ever in my life. You know what I'm saying? It was cool, it was fun, but that was it. It was just cool and fun. And at the end of it, I just spent a ton of money. Everybody else banked off me, you know. And with the point that I'm trying to make is, if you know that other people out here are going to be irresponsible and blow their money or whatever, put yourself in position to go ahead and get that money. In the gold rush, the best way to make money is to sell the shovels.
Wish I had the look. Go and give yourself a bump.
You know, if you know what's
Speaking of
coming,
that,
set your
speaking
shop
of
up.
that,
You'd be the one selling the drinks. You be the one selling the swimsuits. You know, whatever.
speaking of that, let's go directly into the next one because it ties directly into one of the biggest issues that people make. And this one is an area that we are all too fond of. Credit card debt, loans, cash advances. What's your take, King Midas the King?
Credit cards is the biggest trap ever. It is the biggest trap ever. And then there's one thing, and I was actually just talking to my brother about it. So with credit cards, if you're not properly handling them, if you're not taking care of them, if you're not staying on top of your payments, man, it is a trickle effect. You're gonna get trapped forever. So you looking at late payments, you looking at over limit fees, you looking at cash advances that come with a credit card. You also got what they call convenience checks that you can use on a credit card, which also comes with a fee. Balance transfer fees. You have the annual fees, like the word fee. Just pay attention how many times I'm saying it. Then you have what's called rate increase fee. Now I know this is some no, not rate increase fee. It's rate increase on late payment fees. And then you also have what's called a default rate increase fee. Okay, so your rate increase fee for being late is, let's say that you have a credit card and let's say that your APR on that credit card is 19.99%. Okay, if you're late one time somewhere in that contract, and this probably any credit card, to be honest with you, they have in there that if you're late, they can increase your APR to 24.99%, 29.99%. You got to read the fine print. All right. So now you thinking that you're only gonna pay 19% on this amount that you owe, and they almost doubled it on you to 30%, sometimes more, depending on if you with a shark company. All right. Now your default rate increase fee. This is something that a lot of people don't know about either. Is that, for example, let's say that you got your Amex card, and let's say that you got a Capital One card. Okay, let's say that you was late on your Capital One card. Amex is gonna see that you was late on your Capital One card and will automatically increase your APR on your Amex card because you was late on Capital One. And that's something that a lot of people don't know about either. And that's why you'll start to see your monthly payments increase because you gotta read the fine print. You gotta pay attention on a lot of this stuff.
So
Uh Overdraft protection. I mean, that's kind of more bank, but a lot of these credit cards have, overdraft protection fees and bounce fees and all this other stuff going on. Dude, it's crazy. Fee.
so let me go ahead and take you down the road real quick. Because when I start talking about credit card traps, I start talking about that. Number one, there's two different spectrums that I want to talk about credit card traps in. And we
Mhm.
talked about this in one of our credit card episodes that you guys can go and check out on the channel. When you have subprime credit, meaning below average, not necessarily in the higher tier of credit scores, that they have subprime credit cards that you could use for rebuilding credit and reestablishing credit or whatever have you.
Yep.
If you can avoid signing up for those cards, I would altogether. Some of those cards,
Yes.
First Premier, Credit One, Milestone,
Like Mission Lane.
Indigo,
Yeah.
just throwing these names out here. Anything that's telling you that there is a $39, $59, $99 annual fee that's associated with the card, that the
Times
interest rate,
700.
they start off with very low limits and stuff like that. It's like they don't necessarily benefit you. And if you're not financially mature enough to really handle those situations, I wouldn't. If I was going to have to start over, which is something I actually did have to do, Start back with Capital One. That's the only one I would start with directly out the gate, and I would furnish that limit and build that thing until it became something, all while I'm fixing the other issues on my credit report. Because getting too much subprime credit, they're slow to give you credit increases,
if any.
if any. So you'll be stuck with that $300 limit, that $500 limit for years.
15 years. Yeah, plus.
You know, I still have a subprime credit card on my record right now, to where I have my highest limit credit card is almost $10,000, and even with that super high limit, my subprime card won't let me go more than $1,200. With over 10 years of positive credit history, no missed payments, they won't give me more than $1,200. So you have to understand that after a while, you have to look at situations and put yourself in a position where you really start thinking about things and saying, like, I'm telling you based off of my experience, which my experience may not be yours. I would just tell you that avoid subprime credit cards if you can.
Yeah.
Number two, when you have better credit and you get a chance to take advantage of things like balance transfers, which is a good perk. You get to take advantage of things like point systems, which is a good perk. Flyer miles, travel miles, hotel miles, different things that you get a chance to take advantage of. Number one, be mindful of what you're signing up for. If you do not have avid plans to become an avid traveler, do not sign up for a travel card.
Yeah.
It will be a waste of your time to accrue points, and you plan on going nowhere.
And you can't take advantage of the perks. You can't take advantage of that perk.
And not even that. Let's just say, for instance, right? Let's just look at the Southwest card. Southwest gives you a buku of miles, which you can get a couple of free flights because of how cheap Southwest generally is on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with JetBlue. You know, a couple of them. Here's where the problem comes in with those cards. That's that one-time introductory rate just to bring you in. What does it matter after the fact? So now you're just paying another credit card bill going forward. Sometimes it makes sense when you think about it, like a Sam's Club Visa or Costco Amex or whatever it is they use, because I'm recurring and I know I'm going to go shopping on a regular basis, like your Home Depot card, because you know you're going to use Home Depot all the time because of your line of work. You know, Amazon, like the Amazon credit cards. Some things, because you know that you're going to use it on a regular basis, it makes sense to use it because you get to take advantage of the system. 1%, 2%, 3% cash back or whatever have you. Don't just sign up for anything just because it sounds good today. Think deeper in what makes sense. Don't sign up for Amex Platinum to pay $695 a year for a membership and you don't have any plans to take advantage of what they offer. Do your research. Know what it's actually offering you. Make sure that it works. Because it's like, if you don't shop at Macy's Winery, that's a perk that don't matter. If you don't use Clear because you don't travel a lot, maybe the perk isn't for you. You know, if you don't use Uber Eats, then that perk isn't for you. The $120 credit that you would get every year, maybe that thing doesn't count for you because you don't utilize the service. So don't just sign up for things based off the prestige. Sign up for them based off the fact that they are in line with the way that you live your life or plan on living your life. Make your stuff make sense. And that's how you avoid a lot of credit card traps, because now you don't find yourself applying for this one, because it sounded good. Now I'm going to apply for this one because now I realize that this is more so my speed, but now I still got this one. And now I got a balance on that one. And now I got this one. And I got a balance on this one. Oh, Apple. I like going to go buy Apple. So I go get the Apple card and I go max it out on a brand new MacBook Pro. So now I got a balance on this one, this one, this one. And before you know it, now you in a world of debt.
Now you're in a world of debt. And I was gonna add, put a little bit more sauce in the ribs. Don't get them simply just because you want them to just sit on your credit either. That's awful too. Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna get that card, you have zero purpose for that card. Months go by, they see that you're not using the card, and then they're gonna drop the credit off you. So
Either
now
that, or
you're
they're just gonna lower your limit due to inactivity
they're gonna lower your limit or
cancel it.
yeah, or cancel it, which is even worse, which is gonna bring down your UTI, your utilization, and which could or has the potential to drop your credit because of a closed account. That can also, and the closed account is gonna sit on your credit. So now that closed account is now going to reflect as a negative for any other credit account that you're trying to go after.
Yeah, because it don't say paid
Yeah,
in full. They look at it and say, "Oh wait, he don't spend no money. So why would I
you
give
don't
him
spend
that?"
no money.
Or it's going to
Right.
affect the type of limits that you get in the future because you don't use it.
You go. Yep.
And with the last but not least, I don't think I need to. This one should be number one for me. I think we know. think we know. I think we know, Midas. I think we know.
We do. We do. But it's a dirty word.
It's a dirty word. You
Mhm.
want to say that dirty word? Or should I
Man.
say the dirty word?
I don't want my mouth washed out with soap.
All right, it's okay. I'm going to wash mine out a little later. Give me some Dr. Tishner's, the mouthwash that burn your gums.
That's how you know it worked.
Budgeting.
You said it. Oh.
Budgeting.
Mm.
No budget.
Oh.
That is the biggest debt trap of them all.
You said the dirty word.
The dirtiest word ever. Budget. First and foremost, you should not be out getting credit cards with no budget. You should be not buying food out in the street, dining out, kicking it with no budget. You should not be outside chasing women or shopping online. You should not be doing random impulsive things ever for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But none of the above should be even thought about with no budget. If I don't have my finances in order to know that I make $4,000 a month after taxes, I bring in this much money, this much is allocated to rent or mortgage, this much is allocated to utilities, this much is allocated to this much is allocated to that, this much is allocated to this much is allocated to that, and this is what I have to play with. If I have anything to play at all. How much money am I saving? How much money am I investing? 401k account, employee account, whatever it is that you do. If you're an independent contractor and you get your money 1099 or you get straight checks pre-tax, are you putting money away? This goes to my truck drivers. This goes to all of my independent contractors of all fields. Anything that you're doing the way you're receiving a check without taxes being taken out prior to, do you have a Vanguard account? Do you have a Ameritrade? Do you have an E-Trade? Do you have a Roth IRA of any kind? Do you have a Merrill Lynch? Do you have something that is tax deferred that is allowing you to put up a portion of your money to save for retirement and or a rainy day? Do you have a crypto portfolio? You may not be into crypto, cool, no problem. Do you have any savings, any bonds? Anything in any of the accounts, the S&P 500. What are the other ones? The ones that you're a fan of, the VVF or what else?
So I'm a fan of the S&P, the VNQ, the VOO, and REM. Those are my favorites.
So if you're not familiar with those, not just completely butchered that last one, but at the same token, my point is, that are you invested? Are you taking any of that tax deferred money and putting it away to either reinvest later or to put yourself in a position in case something happens that you have something to fall back on? That's always going to be a big deal. Always. When I look at a 401k or a thrift savings plan or whatever it is that your job type is, I don't look at it as far as when I'm ready to retire. I don't really believe in retirement because I don't really believe in working. And I'm not saying it like in a socialist kind of way, but I believe in my duty is to provide. So all day long, everything I do, from shooting this podcast to going to my 9 to 5, to any side hustles that I do, to any skill that I learn, to anything that I actively learn to make money off of, that is part of my job.
Mhm.
That's part of who I am as a man. It's part of my DNA. It's embedded into me to earn money off of my skills. So because of that, I don't see myself ever retiring. I may see myself coming out of a manual labor environment and transition into more of a mental environment, to where as I start to get older, as more gray starts to appear in my beard, I'm going to make more money off of this than I make off of these.
Correct.
But you don't retire. You don't retire. You just transition. So in my transition, I look at 401ks and all these other plans and everything else.
Yeah,
It's
IRA,
just, is it a buffer
UAS.
for
Mhm.
transition? Somebody might believe in retirement, that's fine, but jobs are jobs. Whether I do what I'm doing currently, whether I'm making money off social media, whether I'm driving trucks, no matter what it is I'm doing, I'm going to transition. I don't ever see myself stopping my earning potential. Even if I'm passing it down to my children, my legacy is earning money that then I am benefiting from the fruits of the labor that I put in 20, 30 years prior to. So I never retire. So I don't see retirement savings. It's a fallacy to me.
Mhm.
They're just holding a portion of my money until I'm ready to use it for what I really want to do. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else. But my point is that if you don't know what you have available to you, you are setting yourself up for failure. 100% of the time. There is no oops. Lottery tickets, cigarettes, booze, whatever your situation may be, anything that you're investing money into that you do not need is a wasted effort. It's a wasted effort. You don't need a new outfit every time that you get a paycheck. You don't need to go and buy yourself a burrito every time that you get paid. Get out of the mindset of thinking to yourself, because that $10 burrito times 52 weeks is $520.
Mhm.
Times 26 paychecks is $260. And trust me, you ain't just buying one burrito. That one candy bar at the store, that one bottle of water, that 5-hour energy for $4, all these little trinkets, that bag of Doritos, that bag of Ruffles for $2.99, whatever it is that you're getting, it all adds up, whether you notice it or not. You probably have literally spent and maxed out an entire credit card on nothing but junk, because you incorporate your credit card balances into your available spending. That's a no-no.
Oh, that's a huge no-no. That's a huge no-no. Operating a credit card and not having a budget or money to cover it, like having no liquid anything at all. No. All right, so look, I'm gonna put some more sauce on the rib. So in a nutshell, okay, because I want to make sure that you guys are getting comfortable with the word budget. Okay, it's not a dirty word. It's not taboo. It ain't nothing like that. Okay, budget just simply means giving your money a purpose. That's all it means. Just give your money a purpose. All right. What we're not gonna do, I take that back. So your money is your first employee. Okay, you need to make your money work for you. We spoke about this a couple times. Okay, when you get paid, you need to slice it up. If you get your check, to keep it simple, $5. Okay, this dollar does this dollar does that. This dollar does that. This dollar does that. This dollar, that's your FU money. Okay. Now you're going to do that every single time that you get paid. You chop it up. You do that. You do that. You do that. You do that. The rest is mine. That's the money that you can go do your impulse and buy your shoes and your Sheen dresses and your Temu and your Wish. That's the money you play with. All the rest of this money has a purpose and it's working for you. This money goes into S&P or any other index or any other stock. This money is for college. This money is for this, whatever. This money is for utilities and bills, mortgage, rent. That's how you're supposed to operate your money. Okay. Credit cards. Your credit cards are supposed to operate in a business-like manner. We really need to start moving through life and understanding that you are a business. We spoke about having a job. Okay. Having a job is a business transaction. You are not an employee. That job is not an employer. Okay. It is business to business transaction. I am hiring you to perform this said task. That is a business transaction. When you perform said task, I will then pay you. That is a business transaction. You need to operate in that manner. Nothing more, nothing less. Your credit card needs to be treated the same. I'm not using this credit card unless I'm using it for some said business, which is then going to benefit me. And I take whatever that benefit is, I'm going to take the gains off that benefit, put it back on the card to cover that cost. That is how a credit card is supposed to be activated and used.
I use my Amex Platinum every month to cover my rent because I like to rack up my points.
Mhm.
However, I always have the cash to cover that transaction.
That's it.
So
That's it. That's the game.
So that's how you play it because I understand what the benefit of my card is to do. So at the end of the day, when I decide I want to travel, I'm traveling for free off my Amex Platinum just to pay the same rent that I was paying anyway.
Mhm.
Or if I decide it's this easy. If I paid 11 months of rent on my card, the 12th month is free.
Mm.
Really, that is just that simple.
That's a great perk.
It's really that simple that if I look at it along the lines that every December I can save $2,000, Christmas is on Amex.
Mhm.
Legitimately, if that's how I decide to, you know what, I'm
Absolutely.
just gonna cash in October, pay off my rent with points, and then
Mhm.
use that whole month's rent right there just to go and do my Christmas shopping or go
Absolutely.
do whatever I want to do with it. I can
That's the way
pocket
to
my
do it.
cash up. But sometimes you have to understand that it's like if I'm going to eat this on the back end, then it has to have a benefit to it. You don't just do things just to be doing them. You do it because the benefit has to outweigh the risk.
Correct.
And there's no
Correct.
risk if you're working and you got the cash. There's zero risk. There's zero interest charge because I have enough money to pay off the debt. So there's
And I
zero
owe you a bomb. I owe you a bomb. Hold on. Because you said something that is very important. That is very important. You finna pay your rent anyway. You got the cash. Swipe the card, pay the rent, or go online, ACH it, whatever, blah, 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 whatever you're gonna do. Use the actual cash that you was finna pay anyway, put it on the card, pay that back, get the points. If you do not have the actual cash for said item that you want to purchase, don't use the card.
Don't play the game.
Don't play the game. Don't use the card. You need to have the actual cash to put back on the card. That's the game. You transferring your cash into credit, which will then translate into you getting bigger limit amounts. That's the game.
And you don't play with money that you don't have. That's the key to it. You don't play with money that you don't have. You show them responsible activity. You furnish your limits. You build excellent credit history. Because you have to think about it too. It's not just the credit report, but you also are building a relationship with the credit card company themselves.
Mhm.
So certain interest rates that you can get on cards and certain exclusive offers that you get on cards and certain things that you do with certain cards could all be furnished solely based off of the activity that you have with those cards.
Mhm.
So if you don't know how to properly handle those cards, well, guess what? They're going to keep you at a low tier. Or they're going to keep you at the tier that you came in on. And every time they go in with 3 months, 6 months down the line to evaluate your activity, guess what? Banks, they have all the information. They have
Yeah.
all the information they need to know about who you really are. You told us that you make $100,000 a year, but you spend like you make 50. That's okay because you're going to be in debt to us for the next 20 years. You file bankruptcy, we're going to get paid anyway. No harm, no foul. They know that already.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys,
Yeah.
45 minutes in.
Real quick,
Oh.
and I want to leave you guys with some homework. I'm gonna leave you guys with some homework, okay? It's beneficial. Use it, okay? I'm gonna give you 6 types of budgeting. 6 types of budgeting for you to go out, research, do your Google searches, figure out which one worked for you, man. But get your money on track. All right. The first one is activity-based budgeting. Okay. 2 is incremental budgeting. 3 is value proposition budgeting. 4 is zero-based budgeting. 5 is flexible budgeting. And number 6, which is an old school classic, envelope budgeting. So I'm gonna give you that homework, research them, do your due diligence, trying to help you get right. That's it. That's all I'm doing.
And with that being said, the boogeyman is out. The B word has been established. Get to it. Chop, chop. Anyway, that's our time, guys. We are the Extraordinary Men, and you guys know who I am. And if you don't know who I am by now, I'll remind you. I'm Phil Jones, Mike Jones, however you know me personally, professionally, and I am the host of the Extraordinary Man podcast. And you guys know who this absolutely fantastic individual is. Right next to me, I can't say it enough. This man is the most handsomest, most well-to-do, the cleanest, the meanest, the hardest working, the smartest working, the most intellectual man. He's the intellectual gangster. I'm like, if the Dos Equis man really existed, that's his best friend right there. I'm trying to tell you something. It's because he don't speak Spanish, but that's not the point. That's not the point. My point is, we got the greatest. He's sipping that bottle of water and gold particles are literally coming out the bottom of it with every sip. I'm trying to tell y'all how this works, man. State your name, man.
Man, I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go. And remember, budgeting just only means give your money a purpose. That's it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Peace.